This is going to be a different video for me. On my way back to Florida. I'm sitting in the Charlotte, North Carolina airport right now, and my plane's delayed. I won't get home till about 3 a.m. this morning. But while it's fresh in my mind, I want to talk to my fellow military veterans about going to military reunions, particularly once they're retired. I'm on my way back from a reunion in North Carolina, and I do have some notes, so I'm going to sort of refer to them a little bit. But most veterans either see themselves as they were, or at least they're able to recall what they were when they were young. And most of them lose touch with their military buddies, or they just don't keep in touch with their connection to the service at all. And I've done just the opposite of that. In the last couple of years, I started going to a reunion of a infantry unit that I was in, and we were in Desert Storm together. And this unit, the reunion is for people that have served in the unit regardless of what decade. I think the earliest person was serving in it in 1970, and there was people there that actually are in it right now, family members, because the current unit is deployed. Sorry about the announcements. But so I want to encourage you to. I want to talk to you about going to these reunions, and then I want to tell you how, if you've ever been interested, how you can go about getting in contact, connecting, and then making that happen. Because I think those steps are what people need to hear the most. It's not as hard as you think it might be. I'm going to tell you the number one clue is Facebook. If Facebook is good for anything, it's excellent for keeping in touch with military buddies. On my Facebook, I'm probably connected to 50 guys I served with, maybe 60, and probably 30 of them are really close connections. And then there's also units that are on Facebook as well. But back to the reunion itself. I just spent the weekend, and boy, did I check a lot of boxes this weekend. I was there. I landed on Friday. It's Monday now. I'm headed back. The reunion, the last event at the reunion was Saturday evening, but we had sort of a meet and greet get together that they do every year, and then on Saturday there's sort of a little bit of a kind of a dinner and a reception type thing. Not formal, very informal actually, just a gathering, the main get together. And it's very nostalgic, it's emotional at times, and it's rewarding, because a lot of the things that have made us what we are today happened in our youth. And I think anybody could say that. But then when you add in the fact that you served in the military, and at the age of 18 or 19, your responsibilities were greater than most 40 or 50-year-olds. It's just a unique experience that is generally one of the highlights of our existence, the highlights of our life. And it makes quite an impression on us, so much so that it sticks with us forever. And people miss that camaraderie and that esprit de corps. And that's what these reunions are good for. I'll tell you this, it doesn't matter how good you were back when you were in, how bad you were back when you were in, what you looked like, what you didn't look like, how well you performed, how well you didn't perform. None of that matters at these reunions. Additionally, what you've done since then, what you've done as a career in life, where you are now, none of that matters. Matter of fact, I definitely know this weekend, but even the last time I went, not one person asked me what I did for a career. It's just all about maybe recognizing each other, or if that individual didn't serve when you served, finding out what those common connections are, and they just click right away. And you talk about what it was like this decade versus that decade, and where the unit was here, and who deployed to which spot in the world. And it doesn't matter whether you're a combat veteran, doesn't matter whether you're a peacetime veteran. Really, all that matters is that you're a veteran of that unit. And I can't think of anywhere else that you can go in society and the playing field be as level as it is than at a military reunion. Matter of fact, for me, a lot of times people just sort of freeze in time. So one of the other benefits for me is I get to see one of my closest military friends, who was my gunnery sergeant back in the day, and him and I clicked back then. He's 13, 14 years older than me, but when we were in, and since then, we've been in contact for 30 plus years, he's probably taught me more than my own father. And he's just got a lot of wisdom, and he connects things very quickly, puts things together well, and has an intellect that is far greater than most people that I know. And getting together with him is a really special time for me. Not just, and now, sure, we reminisce a little bit about what took place back in the day and all of that, but it's as much about our current relationship as it was about what we did in the past together. That's just what brought us together. And we couldn't be from two more different walks of life, but we have that commonality that has connected us for the last 30 plus years. And that's probably, I would come here just for that. But then the fact that this reunion is here as well is something that kind of pushes me over the edge. Additionally, I got to have lunch one day with someone that I served with 40 years ago in my very first duty station. I've seen two guys from back then in Alaska, Adak, Alaska, in the Aleutian Islands previously, and this time one couldn't make it, but the other one could. The gentleman that could make it, back in the day, I was fresh out of boot camp, and he was my platoon sergeant, and instilled the fear of God in me. All I wanted to do was avoid him and stay out of his way. And then over the course of 40 years, we've had touch points, and he retired, and then he goes into business. He's a very successful entrepreneur. He's into the arts. He's a historian, and those are things that I couldn't have even imagined that he was back in the day, because I thought he was just a scary, veteran Marine. And so when you go to these reunions and you have the opportunity to make these touch points with individuals that you served with in the past, you need to understand that things don't freeze in time. He retired as a master gunnery sergeant. When I knew him, he was a staff sergeant. In my mind, I still want to call him staff sergeant, right? But he was a master gunnery sergeant. But people and things don't freeze in time, they evolve. And I knew nothing about him or his life or his experiences back in the day, because that wasn't the role I was in. I was in the role where I was a worker bee, and I needed to do what I was told, and that was it. And fortunately, we kept in touch because of areas that we've been in. Of course, oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. And we meet up, and then pretty soon it evolves into a great relationship. And I've learned more. I learned as much from him today as I did back then, and I'm thankful for those moments. And had I not approached military reunions, I would not have that contact today. So if you're interested at all in attending a military reunion, doesn't matter what branch, every service is great service, and you don't know how to go about it, or you haven't been in touch with the unit or the people for decades and decades, go to Facebook. Go to Facebook, search for your unit. For example, my unit was 1st Battalion, 8th Marines. They have a Facebook page. There's a few Facebook pages out there called 1st Battalion, 8th Marines. Then there's also another Facebook page called Foul Weather Warriors. That's sort of what their nickname was. And you can go to those pages, and you'll start seeing names that kind of click, and you recognize, join the group, right? And people may find you, or you may find others as your name shows up or their name shows up, and you'll start getting those few connections. And then when they do a reunion, you'll see the notification for that. And again, you do not have to, it doesn't matter what you do now, what you've done since you got out, who you are, your status in the world, none of that matters. All that matters is that you remember that unit and there's that common bond. Do that, or Google it. Google your unit. You'll see that as well. Sometimes the actual official units these days will have a Facebook page, or they'll have a blog page or something like that for their unit. Sometimes it's when they deploy, they'll kind of keep people up to date on what they're doing, very general stuff. And it's for friends and families to know that everybody's okay, what's going on a little bit, very superficial, at a very superficial level. And you can chime in there, or you get your little intel through that, or who to contact. So use the internet, use Facebook, use Google, and seek that stuff out, and hopefully your unit's going to do a reunion or something like that. At the very least, let's say they're not doing a reunion, you will start getting in contact with people that you served with, and it not only is it interesting, but they're going to be interested in you as well. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits of that kind of technology today. So in summary, it's been a great weekend for me. Like I said, a lot of boxes were checked. I go on the base. I get to see places where we train. I see the old obstacle course. I see the old barracks. A lot of things have changed in the last 4 years, but many things have stayed the same, and the memories come flooding back. I was at the PX the other day, and it's a new PX, but it got a huge fishing area and all of the saltwater gear you can imagine. And it took me immediately back to a buddy of mine, and we would go to the PX and try to find the latest lure or something that would increase our chances. Then we'd head out to the beach, spend the weekend at the beach, saltwater fishing, and Sean taught me everything I know about saltwater fishing initially. So what do? I get on my phone and I text him. And I remind him of this memory and the fact that I recall that when him and I used to go to the PX and things like that. And those are just really special moments that allow me to reconnect to people that I care about. So getting on a base, driving around, reminiscing, the memories start come flooding back. Going to the town that's around the base where we lived. It's my very first house with Maria when we were married, and there was a duplex there. I went past the duplex, took a picture of that, sent it to Maria, and I told the kids, I said, this was the place where I can remember we left for Desert Storm on December 24th. Maria and I had our first Christmas tree. It was decorated, and then a week later found out that I was going to get deployed, so we had to put everything in storage. So we took that first Christmas tree and we put it out on the curb and put a sign on it that said free Christmas tree. And somebody came to our door and said, really, are you giving away that tree? And we said, yeah, we are, and kind of explained the circumstances. But we gave away our very first Christmas tree that we had when we were married. And next year, this coming May, we'll be married 35 years. But that's a really poignant moment in my life, and brought back a lot of emotions, because back then you think it's nothing, it's what I got to do. But with 35 years of experiences with her, I realized that was really a important moment in our relationship. One of the first big challenges that our relationship was going to have, and fortunately we passed that one with flying colors, and have every other one in the last 35 years. So again, very special. Reconnect with your military buddies, go to a military reunion, and if you have any questions, my email address is in the description. Feel free to email me or leave a comment below, and I'll tell you what I know, and maybe I can help you get to that point and enjoy it just as much as I have. Sorry, there's no editing. I think my note's pretty complete, and I hope you found this video interesting and informative, and I'll see you in the next one.